Welcome back to another episode of Templars Talks, number 36 this time. And we're going to talk about Into the Grave.
Yes!
We were there together, and 3 days full of metal to talk about.
So lovely.
It was especially fun for me seeing some of my I don't know, childhood bands live.
Yeah.
And I guess, I first want to know, what did you think about this location? Because this year Into the Grave was at a different location than usual for 1 year only.
Yes, next year it's gonna be
back
at the old place.
Yeah.
Well, I think if I was just only a visitor, it felt smaller for me. I think the layout between the main stage and the smaller stage was nicer. The space of the small stage was bigger.
Definitely.
But the space in front of the main stage was smaller. I had a feeling that both stages were also a little bit smaller.
I think
Not a lot, but
because
like maybe like 1.5 meter. Not hugely, but
I think it also felt smaller because there's more open surroundings.
That's also possible, but
yeah. In any case, I was a bit concerned when I saw the map at first that the walkthrough from the main area towards the smaller stage would be an issue. Where people were queued up, couldn't pass through and such. But that was not the case at all.
No.
It was totally fine. So, that was very good, I would say.
yeah.
I liked the amount of food options that they provided. That's okay. I think it's maybe similar to before, but in the way they lined it up, it was nice. And,
Yeah.
I think there was a lot of choice for people. That was a positive thing to say, I guess. I struggled a bit with all the rocks everywhere.
Yeah.
It's
I
a
had them in my
parking lot,
shoes all the
so-
time in the bottom. They were
Yeah.
stuck there.
Yeah. And I think that's the nature of the parking lot doing that.
Yeah. I think if it was grass, it would have been even better to the whole festival feeling. But I liked the festival. I think, especially, the backstage for the bands, it was a little bit better arranged because I think at the normal location, they have the backstage in the nearby venue and they have to drive between their dressing room and the stage.
Yeah.
And now it was in one location.
Much better.
But that's the organizational part. So I think it was a great location, and I think it was fun. It was hot.
It was very hot. I didn't like that I had to walk so far for parking my car.
Yeah.
But that's me being spoiled. I admit that. Because in the other location, you can literally park below
Underneath
the
the
festival.
graves.
Yep. So that's just really not an issue if you think about it. That if you compare to other festivals, it's probably not that bad.
Shuttle buses.
That's just I must say something at least. It was okay. I think what I heard people say most is that it was fine location for once.
Yeah.
Not bad, but they prefer the old one.
Yeah. I can understand that. It has its charm, you know. It's called Into the Grave. There used to be graves at the town square, so it just fits.
Yeah.
But I have to say, the same weekend and last weekend, you know, there was these huge festivals. And I saw the immense amount of people, and I was thinking, Into the Grave is such a little, small, cozy festival where people bring well, of course they bring the children to Graspop and all that, but I don't know, it feels so...
Yeah, I know what you mean. Intimate.
Yeah. And then, but there were still, the bands that were headlining were still like quite huge acts, you know?
Yeah.
So I think this festival has a charm. It's not as big as any of the other European festivals, but still you get a lot if you visit these 3 days.
That's for sure.
That's my opinion. And I love it, so...
Yeah, I haven't missed a single edition, and I do not plan on missing next year, so let's bring it on.
Yes.
All right, maybe let's start talking about the
Friday.
Friday.
The 13th.
I arrived early. Yeah, I arrived early at the festival. You were a little bit later, but I can speak a bit about the first couple of bands that I've seen. And we opened up with the band Vulture, some Dutch thrash band that has been around for longer than I have years on the counter myself. I think they did not specifically release a lot of albums in the past couple of years. I think one from 2021 or so. So, yeah. It was an interesting to start with. They had quite a good of energy, a bit of a cheerful moment to look at. So I think the people who were watching that were all like claiming a place for the headliner of this day, Savatage.
Yeah.
And then if you see Vulture, it's in quite a good line with that. I think people had to wait there in the front row the whole day. Because they had a good start, I think. It was a nice start. I like that. It was a good one, so to say. I think the second one, Bone Ripper, was one that I liked a little bit more even. They were on the smaller stage, the Reaper stage, as it was called. And on Friday, they had this Reaper stage dedicated to hardcore metal, calling it underneath the title as Hardcore Friday. And of course, we affectionately called the Friday the Theater Friday always. But that has been postponed to Sunday this year. So we had a bit of a more hardcore start. I think what Bone Ripper is really kind of the band that has like no nonsense and straight in your face kind of metal. Like it starts and you're like, okay, bam, there it is. I know what you're about. And that's a bit of the opposite from the other states, I think. The other states is a bit more like glammy feel, even though it's thrash, but you know what I mean, maybe, with the looks and the way they present themselves.
Yeah.
And this was just, let's just play and get the energy going, you know? Yeah, I like that. Then we had Coffin Feeder, and Coffin Feeder was a band that had to come on the bill after another band had to cancel. And then they shifted around a little bit. So the other bands were playing later than planned originally. Yeah. These people are coming from Belgium. And I think a lot of people have seen this band before. I think I liked from this band that they used the whole stage. You know, they were on the main stage. But I was a bit like, okay, this band and what they're doing... I could imagine them doing like super cozy and close-up stage at the Reaper, you know, where they have close contact to the audience.
Yeah.
And now they're up at this big main stage, so that was a bit of a concern for me. Like, is this going to work? But these guys pulled it off, you know. They used the whole stage. They seem to get people interested. So yeah, I applaud them for that.
Nice, because I missed them. Well, actually, I arrived, but I wasn't... When I had my gear ready, it probably had been the end of their 3 songs. So, and I had to run, and I thought, maybe I just need to catch my breath a little bit.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's sad, because I had some really nice pictures of them.
Yeah. I saw them. The flying in the air while kicking was and stretching his leg is an amazing one.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that one. It's probably gonna end up in my year portfolio or so, because I like it very much. Yeah, the next band, I think that might be the first one you shot, was Heavy Hitter.
Yeah.
They were, for me, okay. I cannot say that I specifically liked what they were doing.
Me neither. It was...
It's there. Yeah, for me, it was a bit like, I don't feel it or so. Like...
I had the same, and the thing is, when I look at my photos, I'm also like, okay. I don't know. Like you say, the feeling wasn't there or something. I don't think they played bad, but I can't really remember them. They were the one band that also... I don't know, they felt a little bit lost in compared to all the other bands. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that is what I also wrote on the website. Like, I kind of felt a bit like they had the Coffin Feeder and Bone Ripper before them. And that was just different energy, you know?
Yeah.
These bands really come to you, and Heavy Hitter is having a bit more of a distance but when you see that. So yeah, maybe a bit of an unlucky placement. I wouldn't say it was a bad set at all, but I just didn't connect to it very much.
Yes, I fully agree with you on that one.
But hey, not everything can be a winner.
No.
And then one band I was looking forward to, the 3 Inches of Blood.
Yeah.
I mean, I know this band from the Roadrunner years. I think I kind of found them on a sampler from Roadrunner.
Nice.
Yeah, and I think after that I still have some records in my storage somewhere of them. Then they kind of sort of disappeared for some years. Not much going on. And they're now back on the roads, picking it up again. And I was surprised to see that there were quite a bunch of people who were still listening to them, apparently, because there were like people like really following the songs and obviously knowing the songs, like singing along, giving those kind of signs. So, yeah. I really liked their performance. You could also see that they have quite a bit of more experience compared to...
Definitely. Yeah.
So
they kind of stood their ground on that stage. Yeah.
They will come close to Templora's headquarters in August.
I know, with another nice band we saw at Into the Grave a couple of years ago. What was it called? Spirit Adrift?
Yes.
Nice.
And that's for me like a 5-minute walk, so I probably end up going there.
Yeah. It depends what I'm doing that weekend, but maybe I can join, but maybe I go to Into the Void.
Yeah. We have to see, because I was considering inviting a couple of people and do a little bit of a barbecue up front.
Hi.
We'll see a little bit closer to the date, if that's even a thing. But in any case, Templar's headquarters can always use a little bit of unity of the zombie sisters.
Of course.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, if a band like this has a good show, then they can get some double love. Right? Yeah, I really liked their set. It was, for me, one of the best of the day. Not like the top, but definitely the top list. Yeah, then we go back to the Hardcore Friday with Chromax. Gosh. I kind of remember that they were playing on Into the Grave before, I think. Some years ago, if I remember. And I liked how much of a fan base they had. I think through the last couple of years, I heard how many people were into them growing. I saw it really more and more people going for them. So I was not surprised that that field in front of the Reaper was pretty full.
Yes.
Like a lot of people came to see them.
The energy was quite there when they played their show. I don't think for me it was one of the most inspiring performance, but the energy from that band and the main singer, it was
he's very expressive.
It was so much fun to watch, and the energy, and it kind of was fun because and I have to tell this little tiny backstage story because he was I think he wanted the t-shirts of the festival because he loved them, and one of my colleagues who runs things, he needed her. And then she was actually running to come see him. And I joked to him like, you can say now that you make the girls run in the Netherlands for you. And he was like, oh my God. But it was so, in the same energy that he's on the stage, it's a tiny, well, I'm quite tall, he was tiny. But it was the energy and it was such a fun moment.
He's such a bouncing ball.
But it was, oh my God, I'll make the girls run, like it was so... But I think he's just one of those guys that, all good
he loves
or
what
something.
He's doing.
Yeah. Such an enthusiastic love for the hardcore in the world and.
Yeah. What I really liked of them is like, They were like 10 seconds into their set and there was a mosh pit going on. Yeah. Like, I was like looking behind me like, oh, that was fast. So you can say that this band is really loved, and I think they totally delivered. A lot of people had a good time, obviously, there. So, yeah, definitely a good show. Okay. Then we went to Orange Goblin.
Yes.
More your kind of band, so I give the word to you.
Yes, definitely. I loved it. It was their final show in the Netherlands. That was a little bit sad. But it was really great. The energy was up. They seemed to have so much fun on that stage. And the singer from Exodus joined them for a song. I don't know. It was like... I think some people in the audience were like, okay, it's the last show. They're on a big stage. I don't know. Do they fit on the stage? But their show is not... They are not like the most entertaining band, I think, stage presence-wise. But I think...
Also not the worst, though.
No, definitely not.
For their genre, they're pretty active.
Yeah. And I think the vocalist has a lot of charisma, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a really good set, I think. It was kind of sad it was over. I absolutely loved it. I think it was one of my best of the day. Yeah. Yeah.
I think they do have some Belgian shows still planned.
Not sure.
But nothing more in the Netherlands.
Nee, this was their really final one. But it was kind of fun because you can check it on the Instagram from Into the Grave. They had a little talk with him and he said, well, yes, it's our last song, last show and last tour, but, life is unpredictable and maybe in a couple of years we get bored and we feel we need to go tour again. You never know. So... I love it when a band is just straightforward like that, like for now, it feels like an end and it's good and it's, but never say never.
Yeah, I was also reading a bit up on a story that some other, I think, kind of a newspaper wrote about them quitting, and also about other UK formations like Svalbard and some other bands that were recently calling their quits, and how it is financially almost impossible to survive, even if you're touring and doing all the things you should be doing actively. That it's almost impossible to sustain like that. And I think that also shows that if their regulations change a little bit and the mindset changes a little bit of venues, especially in the UK, will pay like shit.
Things can change,
things can change.
Because they really seem to enjoy themselves. It was definitely not like, God, we have to do this end of our career tour, let's do it. And no, they seem to
but also
fully enjoy themselves.
Yeah, but because they are from UK, they're gonna have extra costs if they tour into Europe.
Yeah, it's not
literally everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's basically their country's regulations who fucked them over. But so hopefully that will change in future and things will be a little bit easier for this band, but also for other UK bands to sustain themselves. All right, on the smaller stage again, Propane.
Yes.
Okay, I was a little bit concerned seeing them on the smaller stage.
Yeah.
I was like, this band could also pull it off on the main stage, I think.
Definitely.
But in the end, I think that also because the smaller stage had a bit more space than I anticipated for when I was at the flag. It was spacious enough. I think that also helped seeing it work,
I think if Propane would play the old location, the smaller stage, I think it wouldn't work as well, because there's like a grassy part and there's like curbs in the middle of the field, and there's a lighting lamp pole. How do you call it? But now
this place this place literally had electricity poles for charging your electric car in the middle.
Yes, but it was a little bit more room. I think Propane to deliver. They had I felt for me they were in the top 3 of this day, together with Orange Goblin and Savatage. I love their set, but I've seen them a couple of times before. They always seem to enjoy themselves. They always, but would they have shine as much on the main stage? I think they could pull it off, but I think the charm from the little stage was also there, but also at the same time the stage felt, for the band on stage, felt a tiny little bit stage. I think they would have been a little bit more and even a little bit more energetic. They were already there. They were jumping in the air and going around, but I think if they had a little bit more space, it would have been even better. But not the main stage. That was maybe too...
I don't know.
They could have pulled it off, definitely, but I think it I don't know. I've seen Propane in in small venues, and it just fits in my brain,
Yeah, but I think I also saw them in main stages. So,
but it was fun. It was energetic. It was very good. I enjoyed myself there.
That was a good show.
I think I stayed in the photo pit the longest with them.
I watched from the side for quite long, but I mean I did not stay for the last song because I wanted to be on time on the other stage, obviously. And when it comes later into the day, it's getting more crowdier, so you always have to take in account that it could take a little bit longer to get to another stage. Wasn't really that bad this year. They also, because they had some I don't know, merch stands, whatever. They were selling the Metal Bible and whatever. And if you took that detour, you could just easily get to the front.
Yeah.
So that was good. logistics were very well arranged, I think. But yeah, we had Exodus waiting for us. And yeah, of course you want to see that on time. I like how they start their set with some Queen, as a Queen lover. I think that really sets the mood if you start with Queen. People really start singing along, and then you get them being more trashy after that straight. That was good. I think I checked the set list afterwards, and some of these songs that they played were played live more than 1,000 times, according to Setlist FM.
Oh.
Can you imagine how many shows this band has been playing? That's a lot.
Yeah, incredible amount.
Yeah. I think there was one or two that had like over 1,000 plays in the Setlist FM, and there were a couple that had over 500, which also some other bands had during these days. But I was like, oh wow, this is that's it's not that crazy to see people respond to those kind of songs because they've been played so many times. It's like they have the hit song that coming back, of course. I like that here you saw a good dose of crowd surfers coming by. I think maybe the most of the day for the main stage.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool. The volunteers were like encouraging it, as always. They were like, yes, we can start doing our jobs now. So they had a lot of fun too. If I look at the show as a whole, I think Exodus conforms to expectation.
Yes, definitely. It was,
which is very good. It was a good show, but for me, it didn't exceed that.
No, that's why they are my fourth place.
Yeah. I mean, that's not a bad thing, but that's just because I've seen them so many times and I know they always do a good show, so...
And they deliver...
They must do something crazy to go over that, I guess. It's not impossible. Paradise Lost did it last year, so...
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. That can still happen. Yeah. Good to see them then. Oh, yeah, and then we had the last one for the Reaper stage, I think.
Yes.
Rise of the North Star.
Fun.
Yeah. It was a good thing. I liked them. They did surprise me. I felt like they were a little bit less sharp in their performance as you compare to Propane.
Yeah.
They did have some mayhem going on for sure. That's what they did, but I don't know. It was okay, but I didn't love it.
Yeah, I agree, and I think okay.
Yeah.
What do I want to say? I think they also have a lot of samples and electronic sounds that complement their show. And compared to Propane and Chromax, that's way more straightforward. They had the energy going, and I felt Rise of the North Star was a little bit different. It was not... Maybe for a little bit younger audience as well.
Yeah,
I'm not too sure. It wasn't. It. Maybe if you see them in a dark venue, they would have. It was getting a little bit dark, but.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they could have been better. I think that's.
Yeah. Yeah.
My conclusion.
But I think sound-wise, they did bring me a surprise, but impact-wise, meh.
Yeah.
So, that. And then we have the last one of the day.
Yeah.
It was Sabotage! And of course, that's my band. I kind of grew up with it, listening it. I mean, I was really happy to see them. I did one thing that I never really bothered to do in my life, and that was check out the set list before the show.
Well, they
I had to know. Yeah, I kind of wanted to know whether my favorites were being played. Most of them did, but that's of course not strange because those are quite the main songs. Because that's what you, especially 20 years ago, maybe even further years ago, that's kind of what you hear from bands that you discover, the singles.
Yes.
So yeah. I did notice that they had a quite easy layout of the stage. I don't know. It wasn't like a big show or something like.
No, for a main.
Like that, it was quite. I don't know. Toned down, maybe.
But I saw them at. I think I saw a little bit of them at Graspop, and they seem to have quite of the same setup, only with a video LED wall that had some.
Yeah, true. The video LED wall. I was looking at it. Was it Graspop or?
I think Graspop, yes.
No, I watched some of the Hellfest show because I was talking. I've been talking a bit with their keyboard player. As he found our Instagram and he wanted something with the pictures, so we had a little bit of a chat. And I think it's on. He pops up in the feed with a show from Hellfest.
Okay.
I noticed. I was like, did I miss that LED thing into the grave?
No, it wasn't there.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like, did we get a cheaped out version or something?
Yeah, I don't think they put it up. Maybe it was too big for the stage. And they couldn't...
Maybe logistically, yeah. I thought also maybe because of travel times, because I've been reading they had some issues with the travel going on. Something like that. Also that they didn't have time-wise enough time to put it up. Could also be the case. I have no idea. But hey, back to the set. I loved it. I saw in the front row people who traveled from Brazil, from, I don't know, France, all places. I saw people having their flags up.
Oh, that's really cool.
With some people in the front row also. Yeah, it's like this band is now kind of coming back in a way with this tour, and just the people really want to take the opportunity to see it.
Yeah. And
I was really happy to see them play. I think it was a good show. You can really see that they know what they're doing. It's typical a show of a band that does this a gazillion times. You can say that. There's not really... I don't know, if you look at it from our perspective and not so much as an audience perspective, you can really see that there's no surprise in what they're doing. Everything is thought out. They did have some freedom to walk around, it seems, but not even all bands have that, I must admit. But for them, yeah. That was nice to see. I think they delivered a good set. I liked the sound of it. You can, of course, notice that they're older. But yeah, it's legendary to see. I liked it. For me, it was the perfect ending of the day. And
it was nice.
All of that, the whole set, and I loved it.
Yeah, it was nice to see that they had those little moments between the various band members that they were like getting together, having a little moment, and then walked away. But I think that's also sort of planned out. Maybe not by in this song we have to walk together, but I think they
it's
know.
Not choreographed, but
I think
it
they
feels
know that
off.
Somewhere in this somewhere we have to walk together, we have to play a little bit together, we have to do a little bit of back and forth, and then we. So it didn't felt rehearsed or anything, but it was also fun because you could see them. Actually, they were having little moments of fun between themselves. I think.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure.
Which I think that it was needed without the whole stage act, the whole set building, and the whole video. We didn't have. But I liked it, and I thought that they had these two keyboard players. They were there as well. Kind of fun. I don't think I've ever seen two keyboard players.
You should see more prog.
Yeah. It was okay.
I'm just imagining you going to all these prog shows, and I know that's not.
I like some prog, but I just...
Yeah, but there's prog and there's proggy, progga, prog. If you know what I mean.
Yes. But Savitar's kicked ass. I was happy to see it. They seemed to have a lot of fun on the stage. I think the audience enjoyed it very well. I think...
And it also shows that you don't always need a lot of extras to bring a good show and have the audience as a headliner. They could pull it off with the minimum and still have everyone loving it.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing.
Definitely.
All right. I think it's time for us to move on to the second day.
Yes.
That was probably the longest day. So let's see if we can go through that on a decent time frame.
Yes, it was kind of early. Not that early, but I had to be there before.
I mean, it wasn't as early as South of Heaven, so...
No. Well, for me it was, but I think I was in my bed at 2, and I was at the festival at 10:30.
Yeah.
So, not much sleep.
Yeah. No.
But I was anticipating for this day. There was a lot of fun things for me.
Yeah. We started it off with this band called Vilt.
Yeah.
I did get a lot of promo about them in my inbox. So I did not check that out because I was like, I'll see them opening Into the Grave, and if I like it, then I might dig into it at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I did like that they have this brutal approach.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like that. It kind of wakes you up.
Yeah.
If you're like just coming out of bed and you see them and you're like, okay... Yes, I'm awake now. Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah.
I might want you as an alarm clock for Monday. Can I hire you? Wake me up at Monday morning when I have to go to work. Now it was a good show, but for an opener, pretty nice. Not too much more to say about that. And then we went to the Italians, the Elven King.
They're so cute. I don't know.
Yeah, I was skeptic.
It's power metal.
Yes, but it was. I think you pointed it out in our podcast earlier that they're doing that, but with enough skill to make you wanna listen to it. I must say I agree with that. They were definitely beyond other bands this day or the next day. So, yeah. Good for that, I would say. I like that. I think the balance between the music and the theater was perfect.
Yes. It was not
that's
it's there, but it's not too much there. It's more woven into the lyrics than into their presentation. Of course, he comes up with this antlers.
The antlers.
But that's kind of cool, and he takes them off at one or two songs. So it's not a gimmick. I think so. And it's not, the band is not the gimmick, you know? It's...
Yeah, they're more about the music than about the gimmick. That's what I like. Yeah. It's there, it leverages the show, but it's not exceeding the show, the music, so to say. It's perfect in the balance. So yeah, I was positive about them. I liked it. I wouldn't per se say that I would see them all the time, but yeah. Yeah, and then the Belgium band. How did we pronounce that again?
Fuck You?
Fuck You. And that's what they were announced at. And then the people in the front row shouted that is not how you pronounce it. So.
Oh, I thought it was Fuck You.
Yeah,
of course, it's not written out as "fuck you," but it's I thought it was the joke because it says FKU, but
yeah. Okay, never mind. we know the band. I liked that they have this very raw fire kind of feel to it. Also very much in your face, quite literally. They would literally come up front on this stage and be like, hello, I'm here in your face. So yeah, that. I think that what I liked about them also is that they do not hide behind topics and comprehension too much, you know? It's very easy to follow what they want to bring.
Yeah, I'd missed them.
And that's kind of that's kind of what I liked about them. So yeah, very nice to see some bloody faces. Oh yeah, and then we had Slomosa. That's so not my kind of band. But I'm sure you liked it better than I
did. Yes, I loved it. I just like the band, but I think they're one of those bands that fit way more into the Void atmosphere. But I think a festival kind of needs one of these bands. It's more groovy. It's more stoner.
Yeah.
And it was like 2:00 in the afternoon. It was the perfect time for Slomosa, I think. They delivered. They had a good show.
Good bass.
I also think they did well on the main stage.
That's for sure. Yeah.
And I never saw them, and I absolutely did not know that the vocalist had these kind of huge
curls. Yeah, afro-like curls.
Afro-like curls, yeah. And they were like bouncing all the time when he was like having a good time.
Yeah,
kind of fun to see. And the female vocalist, I mean, I think, it was, that's a nice touch into the sound.
I have this one picture that I took of the guitarist where he's like bending over backwards into a 90-degree angle almost.
Wow.
And I'm like looking back at it thinking like, well, I'm surprised you didn't fall over backwards.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Very interesting. But hey, I think they were a good addition to the lineup, but I personally...
yeah. It's not your thing.
I watched a couple songs and walked away after that, so to say. Also because I knew you would be watching them anyway. So, yeah. And one band next, Blood Red Throne. Well, I had to look back at my pictures to remember them.
That's never a good thing.
No.
I didn't see them. I have some things to take care of.
Yeah. I mean, they had some expressive guitarists in there, but I don't know. I think it was all very, I don't know, how well behaved, so to say. They don't stray too far from what is generic. Yeah. Okay, it didn't surprise me at all. I think that the audience that came to see them specifically seemed to really appreciate it. They do have a technical look at it, but for me it was a bit like, okay, yeah. And that I afterwards really had to look back to the pictures to remember them. That says everything. That says it all. Yeah. Sometimes that's the case. I do remember it, but then I first have to be reminded to that visual part. Then I'm like, oh yeah, damn. It is not... The music didn't stick around that much.
No, the image and the visuals did, yeah.
Yeah. How different was that from Rotting Christ? Oh,
yes.
Of course, they are ones that I looked forward to. I mean, it's Rotting Christ, for God's sake.
I had never seen them.
Yeah, and of course, I already spoke a little bit about the show that they did with Satyricon in the live stream and Behemoth. So yeah, I was really looking forward to that, and yeah, what can I say? They do not disappoint at all. Great riffs, doing catchy tracks, that energetic performance, that they have fun to do, to be on that stage. The fans are showing so much that they love them being there. Yeah, that was a win. Definitely one of my highlights of the day.
For me as well.
Maybe it was even the highlight of the day in the end.
I think they have to share that spot with Death Angel, but I think they were both amazing. I love Death Angel. For me, that was we will discuss it later, but for me that was something. And then, you know, but Rotting Christ is, you can't compare them. So they brought but the Rotting Christ brought energy. They brought a hell of a show. I got sucked into the music, as you would say. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next show. I'm gonna be there because I had a good time. Definitely liked seeing them there, and that has been also for quite a while since I saw them live the last time. So I was happy to see them again. So good. Yeah. Then we had the Belgian Cabal. Of Cabal?
Cabal.
Cabal?
Whatever.
Cabal for...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of... What did I like about them? They were quite young band, I think. They had also a quite...
I think they were Swedish.
I think not.
No?
But in any case...
but they speak to the younger audience. I think they're definitely one of those up and coming. They're
but they also did have some oldies in the mosh pit there, and I watched it for a long time. I watched almost the entire set, and at some point there was some argument in the mosh pit, and that singer had to step in. He literally said, like, "We're not having any of this fighting over here. Shake hands and make up. And if you go in the pit and somebody falls, you pick him up. And if you cannot handle your shit, you get out of the pit. You know." He really had to explain the mosh pit etiquette once again. Apparently, he literally said, like, I'm not having this during my set.
Great.
Behave.
Yeah.
And I applaud him for that, because that's just perfect. Not every band steps in if they see something happening, you know?
I see what you say. I'm checking out their Instagram because I wanted to know if they're Swedish. They're actually Danish, but there is one post up
Danish.
where they say, when people start fighting at your show, so you have to go full parent mode on them. Shake hands and make up. Yep. You guys shake hands right now.
Yeah, he did that. He did that. And I think that's just perfect, you know? The band themselves, they were flying all over the place. I have photos where like 2 or 3 of them are jumping at the same time. Craziness. Loved it. I really would like to see them once again.
Me too. But then in a dark surrounding. I think they will bring... Maybe. Or some similar spot as where they were now, because that definitely worked as well. I really liked their set. Yeah, me too. But I still think that the type of music is a little bit better in a dark venue with a good light show.
That's for almost every band.
No. I think Rotten Christ did deliver in the lights. I think Slow Mosa did great in the lights. But I think this band needs dark venue.
Oh well.
Dead Angel did amazing.
But
you know,
to be said, if I compare to that last Into the Grave show they had, because they played some years before.
Yeah.
That one was just a tiny bit more than this one. If I'm being super picky, and I'm strict, so I have to say it. But I still love this performance, absolutely. That's for sure.
My mind is trying to think back about that show before. I think maybe. Mark, the vocalist, his voice sounded a tiny little bit not as strong as the one time before we saw them. He was spot on, and now he was a little bit more, I don't know how to say it, maybe a little bit more raw. Maybe he did a lot of things the last years. In a lot of different bands, and it was just a tiny little bit of more raw, I think. But the energy was great, the fun was great.
Absolutely.
All of those
great
guys,
set.
You know, they're having so much fun.
Yeah. And it was exactly how we expected it to happen. It was, in that sense, no surprise, that's for sure. But hey...
so we're talking about Death Angel.
Death Angel definitely a winner today.
Yeah, for me, together with Rotten Christ, they were the best.
Yeah, for me, they were seriously battling. And I think then, because then the surprise element
for you
always counts. For me, I always have that surprise element that is important. And therefore, Rotten Christ won a little bit. If in any case it would be in competition. It is not. But that's just... If we have to make a tier list, that's the way I rate, you know?
I understand.
Yeah. All right. Cobra the Impaler.
Just what they do. Yeah. I like them, but they're not...
Yeah. They were also not having too many people watching them. Compared to other bands.
But I think 2 years ago they played there, or maybe even last year. Or last year I think I saw them so many times. That I think it was not... It was not the best show. But I haven't been in the audience, and the sound in the photo pit was not the best. I think. I don't know how you, but the vocals were not really well in the mix, I felt.
I didn't stick
Although
around
they
long
they
because
they,
this
they are
is...
definitely growing as a band, and I think they do need to. They've been kind of at the same level for a while now. They do need to break through right now, or they're gonna stay how they are right now, just like filling the program on a bill somewhere in the middle. So I think they do need to.
Yeah, I think this is also. I mean, they even get announced as basically being the Booker's favorite, personal favorite. Yeah, that's really nice, and I think it's his own good right to book that band. But I was watching closely, like how many people do actually like this band, and I noticed that the audience was pretty small compared to other bands on this stage.
Yeah.
Yeah. They also played in the Gaspop Metal meeting, so what do I know?
Yeah, and they played there in
they just
large full tent. I think they played in the tent, and they had a video wall there, I think, and that seemed to fit. And maybe if we were there, it would have been a little bit better. But on this festival, Into the Grave, I felt they didn't deliver. They felt under their I don't know. It felt they underperformed to me.
Yeah. I don't know. It was good to see a handful of people going crazy for them. But yeah, it was not the band that drew in a lot of audience, so to say. Yeah. All right. Enough said about them.
Yeah.
Phil Campbell.
Yeah, that was good fun, entertaining, nice, but...
Yeah, I'm always a bit skeptical about that guy, you know. So maybe I had just zero expectations of me liking it, but I did have fun watching it.
Yeah.
He had so much joy in being on there, so playing this Motorhead stuff, and yeah. Like a lot of crowd surfing action was going on, and
I think the audience...
I was talking to, I was talking to some of the volunteers, and they were like, we were debating whether there would be a lot of crowd surfers for every band, and I was like, yeah, Phil Campbell, you probably can expect quite a good amount of people coming for that guy, you know. Like, no, I don't think so. I'm like, yeah, wait for it. And then they were like, Wasp. Yeah, it's the headliner. People will crowd surf. I'm like, it's Wasp, it's AT Glam. Nah, not that much. Next day when I came in, I run into that same person again, and she was like, you were so right about crowd surfers, about all these bands. I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of doing this for 21 years now, so kind of know a little bit. Yeah. But yeah, Phil... Yeah, I liked his set. It was just good fun, and he was having fun. The audience was having fun. Yeah,
definitely enjoyable in the sunshine. It was nice to watch. It was fun to sing along.
Yeah. And then one of the surprises, Hi Parasite. Yeah, didn't we talk just a couple of episodes ago about My Dying Bride having to find a singer from Finland to step in to do that tour and perform that show, and no reason was given what was happening with singer Aaron? Yes, we were talking about that. Guess who shows up with Hi Parasite there? Yes, on the stage. Yeah, that's his band, you know. And he's playing there, and I'm like,
he went from black to white.
Yeah. Well, I think he did wear quite a lot of white before also in My Dying Bride. But I was just thinking like, okay, they made it sound like he had some psychic mental breakdown or something. No, but that was what the communication almost made it look like. The communication of My Dying Bride was kind of like hinting into that sort of direction, like he's unfit to perform this tour, and then he shows up with another band, plays a fucking awesome show. What the hell? Interesting. Good. For people who don't know, High Parasite's band that makes a bit like gothic metal, a bit doomish, typically what you expect from that guy.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit more to the gothic side rather than the doom.
Yeah.
So yeah, in full white outfit, bald face. He did good songs.
Yeah.
I must say, I think they have one album out now. None of the songs that were performed surprised me or jumped out to me. Like, it's not like they had one big hit single in there. I think they were all fine songs, but nothing special, so to say.
Yes, I agree.
But of course that can still happen in future. I think it was a good show with experienced musicians, and also the other band members were playing on par, so to say. It was not just a one-man show, like just a famous name with other band members, because sometimes that is the case when something like this happens. But no, I was watching a good team. They were working well together. It seems like they have a very well thought vision on how to bring the show. So yeah, good one. And then the bands that,
yeah.
Windrose, yeah.
Yeah.
I talked about the balance between theater and music, whereas Alvin King has that perfectly balanced. Yeah, Windrose is all in for the theater. Well, it's true. Yes. It works, obviously, but it's like, let's be honest.
I don't know. If you strip down the whole fireworks show, the whole dress code.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not my kind of thing. No.
It's
just no.
It's just if you would have listened to this music without knowing anything about whatever they're about, you're gonna be like, really, guys? And you put this on the main stage?
I see them next Sunday as well.
Yeah, I am. They're on one of my.
Yeah. Clashes.
I can miss them. Yeah. I'm not even leaving that up for discussion to you guys. The voting has started by now. You guys cannot vote for Windrose. That's a no. Sorry. I veto you people out.
Yes.
I mean, I don't like this band.
Me neither.
I can see that this band does great for the party vibe. They have amazing audience participation. Everybody walks around with their floaty, what is it called, picking axes and whatever they have.
They're the Theater Friday band.
Good atmosphere. Sure, they definitely get that going, but music-wise, I'm just like, gosh, people.
It's TikTok sensation, you know? It's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not my thing.
So...
And since this is our podcast, I can speak my personal opinion rather than it being a review. So I can say, hell no, not my kind of thing. And it's also impossible to have like, 30 or 40 bands in a festival and that you then like everything.
You like everything? No. It's also
No,
one
not
of my least favorite bands.
Yeah. And then I have a surprise with Insanity Alert, which you kind of skipped. I liked, they have a sort of craziness, as the name suggests already.
I already said it's like, you know, in the old day we had Heiderosjes. Somewhere their show reminds me of them. Lyric-wise, talking about politics, the fun and the middle finger they seem to have to everything. It's the same kind of energy, but the Heiderosjes back then, definitely not right now. I've saw Insanity Alert. They are fun to watch. They are high on energy. They deliver. You have a good time.
Yeah.
I
liked. The only strange thing is that guy was talking too much about the new Nintendo Switch. And I was like, guy, you seriously have issues if that's the main concern of your life. Oh my god, the new Nintendo Switch is whatever, too expensive and everybody keeps buying it. Whatever. I didn't even listen to all of that. I was like, are you talking again about this Nintendo Switch? You talked about it like already 3 times. Shut up about the Nintendo Switch.
Okay, so somebody needs to buy him one. It's not going to be us.
It was a sensitive topic for the guy, I guess. Yeah, they were jumping around, holding up signs which says to people like, into the grave, god damn it, marsh, do this, do that, whatever. Yeah. Like I said, fun. If I want to see theater, I prefer it more this way than
yes, definitely.
Than
Windrose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the band who comes to close this off. That 80s glam. Wasp. I'm a wild child. So yeah, I had to watch that. God, I've seen so many Wasp shows through my life. But seeing them here at the festival was good. I think an actual festival performance has been quite some years ago that I seen them. Most of the time I see them in venues.
Yeah, I think last month they played in the Netherlands.
Yeah, no, 2 days before the festival they played in FNR.
Oh,
yeah.
Last month.
I think a couple years ago they were also in FNR and I was there. They recently got a new show announced for, I think, September 9th or something, or 11th, possible. And that's in Tivoli, in Utrecht. So Dutch people who want to see them, you have an opportunity. They added this Dutch show and also 2 Polish shows to the tour list. So yeah, that's interesting. So we talked a little bit about the album that they were basically playing.
And their management
saying. Yeah. And like how they were switching up the track lists because the biggest hits were at the beginning and otherwise people would like go away or whatever. I found that funny to listen to and made sense, and that's also a bit of explanation to the audience that why are they not playing it exactly as the track list of the album, of course. So that was good. As I said, not a lot of crowd services during their show. Also them, they did not have too much show. They had a huge backdrop that kind of embraced the band.
Yeah.
So also on the sides it went on and it went like half circle, sort of. That was nice, but they didn't have much extra risers or pyros or whatever. Just doing the lovely 80s vibe, let the music catch up. And literally everyone's just singing along to these songs. And I found it interesting that the fans were there singing along also to the not hit songs. Like literally every song was popular as a closer. So yeah, that was another headliner that I really liked. And I'm not a headliner person usually, so hey, that's something new for me. Yeah. What were your thoughts furthermore on Wasp? Because I think you saw them also a couple times before in the festival, so...
Yeah, but it's been quite a long time.
Yeah.
I think I liked the show, but I don't know, it was not...
It wasn't the top.
No. It was nice. I think
today.
I think...
A lot of nostalgia for me, at least.
Exactly. I think it was more that, and I think it was more of the fans singing along and having a good time and seeing them and reliving old memories or something, than that it was a kick-ass awesome show. Am I glad I saw them? Definitely yes. Would I go to their show in August or September? No. I definitely think Rotting Christ and Death Angel were the better ones.
Absolutely.
But I do understand they were the headliner.
Yeah. You could also see that they have all these years on the counter, right? Just as we said with Sabotage.
But I think it was actually this year what made the festival have its uniqueness, maybe, you know? These...
Yeah. That's true, I think.
So yeah, that was my opinion.
All right, last day. Of course, we started the day with Haraeus. And God, did we talk a lot about this band before? Yeah, they were on tour with Moonspell and Dark Tranquility. So yeah, we've seen a couple of their shows on the last tour. What can I say? The first show was horrific. Really bad.
Yeah.
But that was also on the beginning of their tour. So I can imagine that they kind of have to find their ways.
Yeah, we kind of really hoped she had like trouble with her in-ears or something.
Yeah.
Or didn't hear herself at all.
Ooh, they were really bad. Especially the clean vocals were really bad. Last time was only recently that I saw them in May. That was the last time I saw them. And I said it was a lot better, but still the clean vocals are not really her kind of thing, I think. And what I liked to see in a band is that if you see them through years or so, that they progress in their performance. And that is what I saw from them quite a lot. That first show we also saw, they were like all over the place.
Yeah.
Like crazy, like, okay, I know you have the energy, but it's so undosed that you're not benefiting from it at all. And that's so much improving. And I think also with this opening show here they had and Into the Grave, you could see they really know more about how to move around on the stage. So
definitely.
I'll give them that. That's a positive point to mention. Yes, those clean vocals will never be her thing, I guess.
No.
I think for them it's wise to focus more on the songs that do not have them.
Yeah, I absolutely love.
For future albums, maybe have one of the band members do them, like the guitarist or something.
Yeah, she really has great and raw screams and growls, but yeah. I do think the clean parts were better than I saw them the first time. But
yeah,
she was still she was still like not hitting the notes at a couple of times.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel it's strange because she's a vocal coach, and I'm not sure if she teaches only the growls or also the clean parts. But I don't know. I do think they've improved on their stage performance. I do think they're very nice to watch. She's entertaining, but clean, just go all scream or something. Just leave out those.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And then I think they will kick ass. So let's go to the next one, because we've been talking for...
Too long.
More than an hour.
Yeah, Tail Gunner we can be quite fast about.
Yeah, fun.
Yeah. Traditional heavy metal debut album from 2022. Yeah.
Small,
it
fun,
was okay.
Cute little band.
Fun. Yeah. Not like a band that I would expect per se at Into the Grave yet, but they were there. It was okay. Next, Buildstar. Dutch.
Local.
Same thing. I didn't per se like it. They did have a show, but I personally didn't feel it so much.
I think they were way too rocky or something. They were too mellow for the rest of the day, I think. Although Dynasty is more of the also not that.
Yeah, but there were people for Dynasty that have been queuing the entire day.
I know, but Dynasty delivers, and it's different. But Buildstar, I don't know. I think the main stage was too big for them. They did have a show. They did have fireworks.
Yeah.
I think halfway through the show, I thought, I'm done.
Yeah. Same.
It's not... I don't know.
It was okay, but I guess it just didn't fit well enough for me.
No.
And then our another Dutch band, Martyr.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I wish them well. These people are always everywhere. If they're not performing, they're in the audience. They're love to visit metal shows, so you always see them around. So I had fun photographing them. What can I say? They are joking around, and they really give you something if you're photographing them. They always make sure that every photographer has a little something. They know very well how the press works, so to say. But hey, that's also good for them, because they played literally all over the world. They played in Japan, in whatever. And now today on Into the Grave. It was a good show. I saw a lot of people that wanted to see it. Wasn't a full house, but hey, that was always also a bit early on the day still.
Yeah.
It was good. Conforming. Check. And then we go to Vader. Yeah. What can we say about Vader? Do they ever disappoint us?
No. But do they ever expect our expectations? Also, no.
No, they never go beyond that. They're kind of a stable factor. You always know what you get when Vader is around. I mean, I've seen them once in Beruch, and I had a bruised rib after that, because some of their fans was 200 kilos that wanted to do some sort of mosh / crowd surf / whatever he was doing while being completely drunk. So he pushed a lot of people around. That was some long recovery, but yeah, that was not up to Vader. That's just a drunk fan being crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, good show, but not surprising. Very predictable. Conform. So I call it. Oh, and then we have to talk about bread.
What was that?
Yeah, I don't know. I remember one of the other press people was, as we were walking away, says like, "Do we really need to have to talk about this? We don't, do we?" I was like, "No, we don't have to talk about this if we don't want to."
I don't know. My thought was, that girl, was she like a cheerleader and got treated wrong, and then thought, I can put my anger in growling, because she literally performed some sort of dance routine, like a
cheerleader.
Yeah.
I at some point, I think I even mentioned it to you, that I thought with her hand movements, that's in her actual working life, she was probably a stewardess or something.
Yeah.
Like, emergency access, could be, on the back, on the sides, and follow the lights.
Yeah, combined with being a
sort of like
cheerleader
that.
in her younger years. But the thing...
I don't know.
She looks so funny when she growls.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know you have to put your throat a little bit up or something and looking a little bit down to make that. But with her, it looked so, I don't know, weird. And then the dance routine and then the thick makeup. I know it's like, I think it's a little bit of the gimmick.
The pants were kind of too big for what they are doing, supposed to be doing.
But I think she is the band. Because I don't remember any of the others.
Yeah. True.
Sorry for them, but yeah, that was my thought.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, it was like, oh, that's time to eat! Yay! Food! Yeah. I mean, she's not holding a microphone. She has a sort of headset on. Yeah. That doesn't help for the faces either, because you cannot hide behind your hand. No. So yeah.
And that exceeds the cheerleader. Thought.
I would be totally happy if I don't have to see her again with the band. No, thank you. Feuerswans. Yeah. Not my kind of thing, obviously.
No.
A lot of people on that stage. Kind of hard to follow if you try to grasp what side the story is going through, because there's so many people, and then there's this guy looking like that, and I'm like, wait, what is it that... I don't get it.
It's kind of funny because if you check out their history, they started out as I don't know, some costume played carnival band, really tacky clothing, the carnival clothing, and then I think the same person as that made Powerwolf big did her thing. I think it's her with Feuerswans.
Yeah.
And I like it if I have to, with all the power metal bands, it's one of those bands I like. Their music is
it's definitely not the worst. It's not the worst.
And I got merch. But the pack is awesome. It looks like a metal. They're like ravens, and it's fucking awesome. And I think they have a good show. They maybe too much going on, but I think it's fun. I've watched them a couple of times now. I don't know. They bring Maya Ho. If you have to have one of those festival bands that bring the mood, set the table for fun, get the people to sing along. Yeah, I like them. Sorry.
Yeah, that's your choice.
I wouldn't travel for a show of them in just, I wouldn't be turning into a fan or anything, but just give me a beer and you have a good time,
Yeah. Maybe
way
that's
more
my problem.
Than Glory Hammer.
That's exactly what's my problem. I don't drink, so I don't get this kind of bands.
Hey, I had a 0.0 beer.
Yeah.
At my dinner. It was kind of fun. I was standing there with my food as a volunteer, and then I was standing in the photo pit, but really at the side. And then one of the vocalist, the main singers, he was like looking at me and like nodding his head like, enjoy your food. And I was like, thank you. I think that must have been the weirdest thing he saw as well, you know.
Probably. Oh well. Did you see Bewitcher?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like them.
They were good, but also for me not standing out much, but
I quite like
them. It was nice to see. Yeah, definitely. I liked what they were doing, but I don't know. I think I saw them sometimes before.
Yeah. I don't know.
It was good. It was a good show, but it's not one of the bands that I have in my top list, so to say. But it was a good show. Yeah, and you already said Glory Hammer. They were here.
No. It was the perfect band for me to do something crazy. I went stage crowd surfing with my camera in my hand. Never done that. Did it here. We picked Glory Hammer because I didn't like the band. So it was perfect to do it.
I still have the evidence.
Yeah, I know.
So, yeah. Elvira went crowd surfing. Yeah, and after that, I think I kind of disappeared from their show. I've seen them a shitloads of time by now. I don't feel like I needed to see the whole set. So after a bit, I was like, yep, time to get more food.
I think it's better than Windrose, but still, it's not my thing.
Yeah. I think also like this singer a bit better than the previous one.
Yeah.
So that. And then we get to Dynasty. Gosh, like I said, there were literally people who have been standing in front of the Reaper stage the entire day. And it was so funny. You see the front row being black outfit, black outfit, black outfit, black outfit, black outfit. 2 furry unicorns, black outfit, black outfit, black outfit. It was cute. I thought like, yes, they get it. Just go glam and be who you want to be, you know. Let's go. I loved it. Yeah. Amazing. But they've been standing there all day, so kudos to them. And Dynasty we've seen before in Into the Grave. They were like a whole lot of different back then in their performance.
I saw them last year at Dynamo as well.
Yeah. But I like what they were doing. Yes. They have it going on and they don't need all the extras, so they have everything what they need to get the audience going. They have a cheerful presence in them, personality already. Yeah. It's like they look at the audience and you see their eyes having fun, so to say, if that makes sense.
The only thing is that with their type of music, it's much more entertaining. The vocalist, he sings in Amarante. He can do his skills there, but I feel this is more his fun thing, his thing he really likes, where he, you know, can share his creativity, his musical.
Yeah, I think that's true.
So you see him. I feel you see him enjoying doing it way more than with Amarante. He has the being nice and doing his vocal thingies, but here I think you see him being more him, maybe. The only thing I don't like about the way of their singing is a little bit more of the how do you say it? The operatic touch to it, the longer vocals. It's not my thing, but it's entertaining. It's fun. It's that.
I think they were definitely a crowd favorite for many.
Definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, the very, very last band, Powerwolf. Now, they didn't save any money on their shows. Damn, that was a production.
And that was only a teeny, 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 tiny little bit of the production.
Yeah, that's true. But it works for them and it suits them.
Yeah,
I must
definitely.
say that. It suits for who they are. It is a lot. It's crazy, but it's also for what they've been doing through the years. It's not like crazier than usual or so. I don't know. We've seen them having this team for always, and from the very, very beginning on, they were very colorful. And yes, they have more stage decor and more, but that's normal if you grow, I think. So for me, that was, it was a good production, so to say.
Definitely.
I think.
And even though it was like a tiny part, I know the video guy from the backdrop and all the stage props, they had the video in them. He had to do it from the side of the stage, and he had to walk in front of the stage almost around the drummer to watch his screens and then go back and then adjust it. So that was kind of fun. And the fireworks, amazing. The whole mask thing, the you know, this what is his name? Attila Dorn or something. He is there like this.
Yeah. It's a presence. He's a presence.
Definitely. He doesn't need to do all these whatever things. He carries the whole show, and then all the other members, I think they equally have their little moments to shine. The both guitarists or
keyboard player. He has so much fun. He is such a character.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And I love that they give him a little bit of extra shine.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It all seems to fit. It is a really big production and it's really thought out, and but it doesn't ever. In my opinion, it doesn't feel too much in a way.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though it is
just
a much.
Right. It is a lot, but it fits. It works for them.
Yeah. And I'm curious because if you saw them at Hellfest or at Graspop, if you saw those productions, I heard their production is built for a stage of 24 meters, like with huge screen, huge. It's so enormous. And then we got to see it on this little tiny festival. It was amazing. And I think the audience, there were so many people wearing Powerwolf t-shirts. There was so much singing along, so much enjoying. It was a worthy end of the festival, I think. Powerwolf will never be one of my favorite bands. But they are awesome. They deliver. Their production is top notch. Yeah. It
was good and a perfect ending to this year of Into the Grave. And then I guess, since we're recording this, it's already made known, but for anyway, if people might have missed it, the first names for next year's are already announced. And maybe we should spoil a little bit so people don't have to go to other websites. If Queensrÿche is one of the names that they already announced. There's Crimes and Glory, there's Vandenberg, there's Picture.
Conan.
Conan, sure, but I'm like, that I like this direction that they're going to. That's good names. I mean, I photographed for Loud Noise, I think, Queensrÿche before. I think they were booked in some City Rock edition where I was a part of the crew. Then I photographed Picture in like 2008 or something. so long time ago. But I had really good memories and an amazing backstage talk with the picture back then. I like these guys. Vandenberg, of course, nice. I think it's interesting that they're now performing as Vandenberg and not like Vandenberg's Moon Kings or Moon Kings, whatever. They kind of dropped that, so good to see them back under this name. Because, of course, I photographed them as Moon Kings several times. Yeah, and Crimson Glory, always good. Then the other kind of genres, Conan, Gnome, and Dormant Ordeal. Sure, nice to have. I'm positive, and good to see those names being made public already. Alright, I think there's only one thing that I still need to say, because can we just have a moment for that proposal of Danny Filth that he did in the download stage?
Yes, we already we were on the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that any kind of choreographed or something?
I felt it was staged. It was set up.
Yeah.
Because I don't know.
She felt like she already knew what was gonna go on, you know?
Yeah, and he just proposed and she said yes, and I was like, okay, continue my song.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait.
Not even a hug or something, like...
I know, if I was the guy, I was gonna, you expect something like, she said yes to the fucking audience. And he was like, okay, sing my song. And then the guitarist, the other band member, he was just tuning his guitar.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. And she was also, you could only see her back. But there was nothing in her movements. Like, oh my god, he's proposing.
No, she already walked on the stage with a certain, I don't know, body language that says, oh, I know what's coming, you know? Mm-hmm. I don't know. But good. I congratulate them anyway.
Yes, it's
I
cute.
hope they have an amazing wedding. And I'm pretty sure our social media feeds are going to be all over this.
Yes.
Just as the other two when from Cradle of Filth got married. So I'm sure that we'll hear much about it.
Yeah.
And I just had to share that.
Yeah.
And that's it for today. Though. I think we have a long episode. Did you meet any of our listeners, actually, at Into the Grave?
I didn't.
I met up with a girl that wasn't listening to the podcast, but had seen me on one of the interviews that I did on YouTube.
Nice.
So I think her name was Maria. She's an painter of doing surrealistic paintings, and we were talked a little bit about photography.
Nice.
And I also said, hey, if you have nothing to do, why don't you listen to our podcast? We like that. So
yes,
that's why I was wondering. But later on, I got one of our listeners. I saw also the guy which was shouting out for us last year. And I waved at him and he waved back.
Cute.
Yeah. And I think one person responded in the Instagram. I saw one of the stories that I did, that he had seen both of us walking, but he didn't come up to say hi or something. Aww. So, oh well. If you see us, feel free to say hi. We kind of like to know that people are listening and such. If you have no guts to do such a thing, you can also just give us a thumbs up on the YouTube. That's also cool. We like that too. Maybe a comment if you're daring. But we don't bite, at least not at audience, so that's to say. Okay, I guess I can tell you once again to like and subscribe and all that thing. If you are hearing this, you have still an opportunity to vote for my Tuska schedule.
Yes.
But then you have to be fast, because that's already next weekend, so yeah. Then we come to a closure. Time to say bye. Bye.
Bye.